Well, good morning to you. Thanks for clicking on to the early edition of Vogan's Views on Europe. Makes a change that I'm nice and early. I've got a day off today, so I've managed to cut this video nice and early and get this hopefully uploaded for you as soon as possible. The time is now around 10:45 a.m. here, and we have got plenty of showers kicking about. We've also got a cluster of pretty decent rains across central and northern parts of Wales and that as well. You notice here some of the darker pulses of rain. The darker reds really indicate the heavier rain, and that's floating over the North Sea. Wouldn't surprise me if they cluster together and push on to the Scottish coast, probably this afternoon. But one thing I want to point out to you here, folks, is, the map generally is reasonably quiet across the Midlands, down through East Anglia, the south and the southwest of England as well. That will change as the afternoon wears on. When you start to get some of that sunshine beaten down on the surface, it then enhances the development of further showers into the afternoon. It's really been the case day in and day out, and it's simply because we've got an area of low pressure that's spinning around and enhancing this unstable atmosphere. You notice here the dark reds starting to show up. They will eventually start to work their way into Scotland as the afternoon progresses. But it's an interesting, noteworthy area of rain across North Wales, and of course these pulses that are pushing eastwards. Notice the movement here. This is something I want to point out to you. You can almost tell with where the area of low pressure is centered, and the reason being is it's the movement of this rain here. Notice over Wales, the movement is from west to east. It's coming off the Irish Sea and working its way eastwards. While up here across the north of England and Scotland, these areas of rain is actually pushing westwards. So the area of low pressure is centred probably not far to the north of the Humber estuary here. And there's a spin in the atmosphere, the counterclockwise spin that is produced by an area of low pressure, and that area of low pressure is the same one that crossed over the south of Ireland and the south of England a couple of days ago. In fact, the meandering, it's almost a stalled out pattern. This area of low pressure isn't going into Europe, it's actually hooking around the south of the UK and back northwards, and it will do over the course of the whole weekend. We're going to continue to see showers and sunshine, with those showers, of course, particularly so in the afternoon hours when you've got further destabilization of the air due to that warming of the sun. That, of course, enhances those showers. You'll notice there it's like little bullets of dark red starting to appear over the map, and that will be those sharp localized showers that produce torrential downpours, perhaps even a half to even an inch of rain within the space of 20 minutes to a half an hour. As well as that, you'll notice the hail, the thunder, the lightning, and of course the gusty winds associated with these showers as well. But very persistent pattern, really. And really, I don't see an awful lot of change. Let's have a quick look actually at the satellite image. And this really reiterates what I'm talking about the position of the high and where we're looking here. This here, of course, is the UK, Ireland. Here is the spiral bands of this area of low pressure. It's centered pretty much right over the Humber estuary. And you can see here, as the loop continues, you can see the curling, the spinning of this cloud here associated with this area of low pressure. I thought that was quite interesting to point out, and that is actually quite nice to look at in satellite. If you're interested in the weather, I always love to see a nice spin in a well-organised area of low pressure. But you can see it very clearly here. It's going nowhere. It's not going east. It's not going west. It's gradually starting to push northwards. The reason being is we've got, of course, the deep trough, and with this area of low pressure within it. But we've got a pretty substantial ridge now starting to build into the eastern part of Europe, and that's going to pump very pleasant, warm weather up through the areas that have been suffering the worst of the winter. So through, parts of Italy, up through Greece, the Balkans, the Ukraine, up into Russia. We could be looking at temperatures well into the 20s by mid to late next week in such cities as Moscow. And that, of course, will be very good news for the people of Moscow as well. But let's have a quick look actually at, I'm going to try and bring this up here for you as quick as I can, some of the model runs, the depiction here, and let's have a quick look and see what's actually taking place here, if I can find it here. North Sea, the pressure, and let's have a quick look and see if I can pull this up. This is actually the pressure chart of the GFS, should I say, and you can actually see quite well here the pressure chart. This here, of course, is the area of low pressure, centered to the north, basically just perhaps just off the Yorkshire coast, and of course there's a pretty substantial the isobars are quite well spaced together as well, so we don't have much in the way of strong winds really. But you can see here what I'm talking about. The showers here over North Wales coming in from the kind of west to northwest direction, while we've got the showers across the North Sea here coming into parts of Tayside, Angus, up in the Grampian as well. It's all spinning around this area of low pressure, so that's why we're seeing showers coming in from the west down across Wales, showers coming in from the east across parts of Scotland as well. But if I skip through here, folks, I'm going to point out to you a couple of things that is worth noting. This is, of course, the current model run, but let's have a quick look for 12 hours in advance. And the area of low pressure, there's becoming a bit of an elongation, so to speak, of that low. Very little in the way of wind really across much of Scotland down through parts of the north of England. The area of low pressure has become elongated really, and it's still sitting there. The two areas of low pressure here in this map has gone very little 12 hours in advance. Let's have a look at 30 hours in advance and see what takes place here. It's still sitting right there. It's stalled out. It's got nowhere to go. And therefore, folks, even looking away into next week, I don't really see much in the way of change here. We have got a continuation of this type of pattern. But let's also have a quick look here at, I'm going to try and pull up the ECMWF and see what the ECMWF is pointing to here. And you can see here, this is the current map for today, the 20th. Upper level. This is the upper level chart, and you can see here the warmer air over the eastern part of the continent. Let's skip through to Saturday, and again the area of low pressure sitting bank slap over the UK and Ireland by Monday. You can see here it's becoming more elongated, if you notice that, but the trough is still here. That means we've got cold mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, and of course when you've got that sunshine beating down, yeah, you've got those showers, thunderstorms, and whatnot. It's just a continuation of the pattern. Warm conditions again across the eastern part of Europe. But let's have a quick look actually at Wednesday here, and I'm noticing something taking place here. There's almost like a surge of warmer conditions from northeast Africa through the Middle East deserts coming northwards. The reason being is, folks, that you notice here that here's another upper level low coming in off the Atlantic, coming down that pike, so to speak. There's a channel opened up, the trough over the western part of the continent, but that channel is free flowing areas of low pressure, spinning them up over the more hostile Greenland and North Atlantic region and pushing down into the trough. So it's just reiterating the unsettled pattern over the western half of the continent. But if you notice here, the ECMWF is pointing to a deeper trough digging right down off the Iberia coastline. As it does so, we've got an area of cut-off low pressure splitting off the jet. It's going to spin up, going to continue to build over the latter part of the week. This is a way out, folks. Of course, it will change whatnot, but it's worth looking at what's taking place on these models. Don't take this as gospel. It is going to change, but it's worth taking a note and taking a look at it. And you can see here by Thursday into Friday, the trough really digging down, almost down towards the Canary Islands. In fact, it is down to the Canary Islands, but at the same time, as this trough is digging way down here, you notice that, and even some cooler air trying to work its way into the northern half of the UK, you've got a real strong push of warm air, really just to the east and southeast of England, really. We've actually got parts of France even seeing very warm air. It's going to pump warmth from the Sahara Desert, basically, up in through France, the Low Countries, and it's going to push very warm conditions up into Germany. If this materialises, you notice here the upper low, the cut-off low, starting to spiral its way down towards Italy. By Friday into Saturday, you notice here that look at the surge of the warmth here. The orange is starting to show up over parts of Germany. Into Poland, we could be looking at low to mid-20s quite easily here. But these are areas of cut-off low pressure. Notice that here, the massive ridge of high pressure covering the majority of Europe. We, unfortunately, are left out in the cold, so to speak, with the trough. A large cut-off low here, and here. So you've got three areas of cut-off low pressure going to continue to create showers and thunderstorms. What I'm concerned about here is we could start to see big rains set up here between the warmth of the east, the cooler, unsettled conditions to the west. That could set up big rains across parts of Europe into late next week and into the weekend. These areas of troughiness over the areas of cut-off low pressure here could really enhance showers and thunderstorms, especially with that buoyant warm air. It could create some pretty unsettled and big thunderstorms perhaps. Keep checking back. There's a lot of things looking at here. I'm trying to keep you up to date some 7 to 10 days in advance. Very little in the way of change, unfortunately, folks, for the next 10 days at least. Warming over the majority of mainland Europe into next week. Keep checking back. Bye for now.